So did you make Game Oven Studios a company before the Dutch Game Garden came along, or actually, can you explain what the Dutch Game Garden is in brief?
Yeah, so the Dutch Game Garden is very practically speaking, a building in Utrecht, in the Netherlands. And there is 50 companies residenting there. And next to that, there's an organization that helps startup companies. So more like an incubator. Um, and there's I think 5 or 6 people working there, constantly organizing projects, meetings. They're even looking around to grab to grab people that, for instance, lawyers that they approach them and ask them for help. Basically, they help startups get a lot of resources that they normally wouldn't be able to get.
All right. And so did you incorporate your company before you joined up with them, or was that after?
So of course I was smart and networked a lot with these people before we started the company. Although we still made the company before we actually got permission to go there. We so actually the moment we joined them was also the moment we got an office in their building. So yeah, we definitely made it before we went to the Dutch Game Garden.
So I mean, you obviously get the resources and probably maybe some training from them. What does the Dutch Game Garden get from having you in there?
That's a really good question. So what the Dutch Game Garden gets money from the government is to promote the Dutch game industry. And obviously, the Dutch game industry is not really that big, considering I think half of the Dutch Game Garden of half of the Dutch game industry is in the Dutch Game Garden. So I think what we add to the Dutch Game Garden is another Dutch game studio that they can help under their name. I think that's their biggest.
So, what are the pros and the cons for working with a collective as opposed to being independent and on your own?
Right. So, of course, the biggest pro would be that being in Dutch Game Garden, there's a lot of companies, game-related companies in there. For instance, a localization company that can help you translate the texts you have into, I don't know, 15 languages. Then there's another company that like animates your characters, for instance. Then there's another that can make the music, the sounds. We're only with 2 people here, so it's me, the game designer, and my colleague Bojan, who is the programmer. And there's a lot of people we're missing, lots of resources that we can utilize that are inside the Dutch Game Garden. So that's definitely the biggest pro. After that, definitely comes the business side, where there's a lot of independent game developers that are publishing their own games, but also have a lot of experience with publishers. So all these people, they can help you make decisions based on what they've already experienced. A con, yeah. I think what would that be? I have no idea. I think. Well, actually, I can't really think of any downside of being inside this collective. Really, no.
So, do you just stay with the people that are within the collective, or do you bring people outside to work on some of your projects?
Outside as well. I mean, of course, there's lots of resources inside this game garden, but there's still a lot of creativity outside that you just cannot ignore. We're looking for interns, for instance, that are not inside the Dutch Game Garden. They're mostly on universities and schools around every part of Holland. And then there's still always the people you've been working with from the start, which are also not always inside the Dutch Game Garden. So yeah, there's still lots of creativity, and we're not really bound to anything inside the Dutch Game Garden.